Good evening all. In this video, we'll see how to add an automatic attribute-based filter in IBP planning views. Okay, let's first check the requirement for it. Okay, whenever a planner opens the IBP planning view template, right? So it has to load as quick as possible, right? So let's say if planner opens the planning view template and it is taking a lot of time, so it is not a good option, right? So in that case, the filter has to be applied automatically. So whenever we apply a filter, what happens? The planning view template loads only the data relevant to the filter, right? So that user could see the data, and even after that, let's say planner wants to view a specific data, then he can apply his own filter. But whenever the planner opens the planning view template initially, it has to load as quick as possible, right? So now we'll see an option, right? Usually, if planning view template is not opening quickly, then there is something related to performance issue, right? So to avoid those kind of issues, the planning view template has to pick an automatic filter, right? We'll see the options that we have in the system. So the first option is like using a template settings, and the second option is it's like the global parameter which would force the user to use a filter, right? So the actual available option is like using a template settings. What happens, the template settings would be picked up while opening the planning view template by the user. Okay, we'll see that. Let me open the planning view. Okay, you see here I've already loaded the planning view. Now I'll show you how to apply the automatic filter. Okay, now you see here whenever you create any planning view template, right? First you create a planning view template, then go to edit view. If you have multiple sheets in the planning view template, you have to apply the settings in each and every sheet of the planning view template. Now you see here all the tabs, right? You go to the filter. You see there is a filter applied, mode of transport ID. Now you see on the right side in the middle screen, right? You see edit template settings. So this is the setting that would be used for applying the automatic filter. Select here, then you see here the attribute based filter, the attribute and the template settings. So if we say copy as mandatory, then what happens? The planning view template would automatically loads this filter as a mandatory one, right? So there is one more option, don't copy. So if you say don't copy, whenever a planner opens the planning view template, it doesn't copy this filter. So usually whenever we create a planning view template, this is the setting that would be automatically applied, right? So to apply this filter automatically, you have to use either copy as a suggestion or a copy as a mandatory, right? This is a mandatory field, and this is the one copy as a suggestion. Got it? This is so these settings you have to apply, then click on OK. So later you have to apply this filter by saving this template again or updating this. If the template is already being created, then update your template with the setting so that whenever the user opens the template, what happens? It will apply this filter automatically. Now I'll show you the next option, which is like using a global parameter. Okay, now you see here there's a global parameter called force planning view filter. Okay, currently it is set to none, but there are two values which are allowed in this parameter. The first one is like mandatory, the other one is I'll show you. So you just select this, click on edit, right? You see there are two more values allowed, warning and mandatory. Whenever you say warning, what happens? Whenever a user loads the planning view, it will show the warning, right? But whenever you say mandatory, what happens? It will force a user to use the filter. It's a mandatory. So without the filter, the planner could not open a planning view. Let's say I'll just say it as mandatory, click on save.